Fisher and welcome to the Sequire Spotlight. We are here live at the LD Micro Invitational at the Four Seasons Hotel in Westlake Village. With me, I have Mr. Dean Taylor, CEO of Diamcor Mining. How
That's
are
right.
you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me. Pleasure. Yeah,
Very happy to have
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Dean, just straight off the bat, tell us more about Diamcor Mining. The
Well,
ticker is DMIF. Yeah,
DMIFF. Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, in the U.S. Yeah.
Wonderful. What do you
Um,
guys do?
Actually, we're a supplier of rough diamonds to basically. We have a strategic alliance with Tiffany's, now owned by Louis Vuitton. But we've been a supplier of rough diamonds to the world market for quite a number of years. And it's not really, it's more of a production focused company than exploration. But that is our job, is to basically produce diamonds. That's what we do. Well, we're co-located with De Beers' big flagship up in, you'll know, Limpopo at the North Province. It's one of the most prolific diamond mines in the world. That facility is about a $4.5 billion mine. We're co-located with it, and essentially what happened was we bought it off De Beers. Tiffany's is, like I say, we have a strategic alliance. They're a shareholder. And essentially the top 1,000 meters of that pipe was pushed off by a glacial event, and that material just spread right beside. So we have about 15,000 acres that we just strip mine all that out, and of course remove the diamonds and rehabilitate as we go. So it's an excellent project. Like I say, we very much coexist with De Beers at that facility. So that's our main focus right now. It's taken about 10 years. It took us probably 3 years to acquire it. We were chosen in a competitive process by De Beers to acquire it. It's the infrastructure is all complete. We're kind of at an inflection point right now. We were really looking at launching this thing and moving through what were current stages, what we call large scale trial mining, which is essentially mining and testing everything for the final ramp up as you go and decide to move to production. We were really there, before COVID, and COVID was unfortunate. We had literally 3 days to shut it down, and then we wait 2 years, and now, it's a key inflection point for us right now as we ramp up, and we're looking to increase everything, and we expect, we think the potential now for, earnings and things going forward. We think it's very profitable. The diamond quality is exceptional. So it's a pretty exciting time for us right now as we get through this COVID stuff and get going again. So, I mean, it was unfortunate, but that's one of those deals. The other global things that we look at right now, obviously, are the conflict in Ukraine is a big deal. Nobody, well, not nobody, but a lot of people didn't realize that essentially, Alrosa's, Russian government, essentially, that was about 35% of the diamonds in the world, and those are pretty much off the table now. So we're seeing kind of real big shortages. We expected they would come, but they're really gonna get shortages. We think are going to be a big thing going forward. So yeah, so.
Wonderful. So the South African location, of course, has got a lot of exciting mines, a lot of resources there. Is that where you focus a lot of your attention?
We do right now. It's tough with diamonds in the sense that there's, you've got basically Russia, you've got Canada, you've got maybe Botswana, Namibia, different areas like that. Canada, as I said, a lot of the bigger mines are now going offline. That's it. Their resources are depleted. So we've seen over this, when we acquired this, the whole deal was we knew there was going to be shortages. There's about 135 million carats roughly produced in each year. About 135 million gets sold. A small percentage of those are gem quality, but most of them are industrial. And so this is a thing that we see now with the mines dropping off. We already knew we were going to have price increases this year. Earlier in the year, even before the conflict happened in Ukraine,
Right.
we saw prices move up by 50% in February. Then this conflict happened, and now we're seeing incremental month over month increases again. How high it'll go, we're not too sure. But we produce about 60 to 65% gem or near gem quality. Have really good quality stones, the same as Venetia's, obviously the same stuff. And so we've seen our price moving up dramatically, and that's where we think the majority of the price increase is going to take place. Although today we've seen that De Beers, I think, announced today around a 5 to 7% increase even on the small stuff.
Wow.
So every category is getting more pricey,
Right.
and natural diamonds are definitely going up in price. So it's real.
Right. Yeah, it's a general theme just right now with inflation and everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, some people will look at it. One thing that we've seen even during the pandemic, and that was, we wondered at the beginning, is the buying going to stop? Is luxury
Right.
goods going to drop off?
Right.
What we saw was the brick and mortar didn't sell, but online went up. And at the end of the day, there's one thing that's really simple, and really what it is people are still going to get married. People are still going to have anniversaries. They're still going to have birthdays.
Right.
They're still going to have special events. And at the end of the day, those are big events for people, and they tend to buy. And there's more people in the world, and so we just don't see it changing. That's been proven time and again.
Right.
So we think, with the rough diamond business, it's going to get pricier, and they're going to become harder to get. We might see synthetics move into the bottom end, but in reality, the real diamond is still going to be that'll be the card that everybody wants, and the ticket. So
Right.
most women are not going to stop liking diamonds.
Diamonds are a girl's best
That's
friends
right.
still.
Yeah, still the same.
Still, yeah.
Probably
And
always.
best friends, we hold on to them for life,
That's right. Exactly.
Tell me about competition in terms of not only companies out there, perhaps, competing, or at the same time, the minerals. Is there anything competitive in the market?
It's the diamond business is not well understood, because what you had in historical was you had De Beers, which was essentially a private company. That was about 35% of the diamonds produced in the world. You had the Russian government, same thing, about 35%. So you had 70% of the business was really not well understood. And then you have the other 30%, which maybe is made up by another 10 to 15 companies in the world. That's it. So it's pretty rare ground.
Right.
When you talk about gold architrave, all these different stuff, gold is gold. It's worth this much an ounce. Diamond's very selective. It has to do with gem quality, the quality of the stones, the size, all these different things. And it just was never well understood. So now, of course, De Beers is now owned by Anglo. The Russian government stuff is kind of off the table. And a lot of the bigger mines that were around, Ellen, Australia, where the pinks came from and stuff, those are done. Canada, a lot of the mines are done. They're at the end of their lives, and there's really been nothing major for, as hard as guys look, there's nothing new, in the last 15 years. And if you and I went out tomorrow and found the next Venetia, we're billion and a half dollars minimum, and probably 15 years to get it in production. So even if we found, Venetia at this peak was about, just under 10 million carats a year, we go out and find that, it's not gonna solve the issue.
Yeah.
Some people will look at it. If you take all the diamond mines and you add them all together,
Right.
and you look at the reserves and resources, you probably got about 20 years of natural diamonds left. And this number is going to continue to go down. So that means obviously prices are going to go up for natural stuff. So it's not well understood, but it's a very interesting business when you look into it. It's
Definitely.
quite an opportunity. I think.
Definitely does sound super interesting, and I'm
Yeah.
excited to learn more. What about the strengths of the company? I know there's a lot of pressures, across the board, but if we focus on just the positives for a second, what would you highlight?
I think in my presentation this morning, I was asked, what do you see as the problems? At this point for us, it's really just execution. It takes a long time to acquire it. The thing is fully permitted with a 30-year mining right, 30-year renewal. The infrastructure's done, the roads are there, the power lines, the water. It takes a long time, a better part of 10 years to get this all in place.
Right.
So for us, we're trading at our market cap is a fraction of what it would probably cost you to even permit it, and that's just a function of the times. So for us, really, I don't see a lot in terms of, things that sort of keep me up at night. Really, like I said this morning in the presentation, this is going to be a fun fall for us, and as we move forward, and it really just comes down to execution. And I'm
Right.
quite thrilled with what the guys are doing on site right now. So I think it's a key inflection point for us. So I'm excited.
Excellent, excellent. Tell us more about the core fundamentals of this business. If there's anything we draw our attention to.
It's very simple in the sense that this is the only known displacement off a primary source. So what's happened is the glacier has taken the top off this known major kimberlite pipe, spread that material out. We have about 15,000 acres, and all we do is there's no underground, there's no blasting or anything else. We strip mine all of that out and rehabilitate as we go and remove the diamonds. Now, the estimate was about 1,000 vertical meters, about 50 million tons of the pipe was removed. We know that translates, Venetia was roughly 100 carats per 100 ton. 50 million carats went somewhere and they didn't go very far. So we have this massive land position. Our focus is short-term, the potential for short-term, like we're already cash flowing, but the potential for earnings here coming up in the very, very near term. and then just future growth. We've only defined about 10% of the area we have, so it's like having a near-term production scenario with that built-in upside yet to come.
Right.
So, and it's awesome quality diamonds, very very low cost, and the economics of it are phenomenal. So we typically look at it when it's ramped up. The target will be to see probably as much as maybe 50% of the of gross revenue drop to the bottom line as earnings. So it's very attractive, and it's all just about ramping up now. So, but everything's in place, so it's an exciting time. Like I said, we were
Wonderful.
really excited, and then COVID happened, and unfortunately
Right.
that was a bit of a delay. But we're kind of right back to where we are. The main thing is survive and keep everything going and get ready to fight another day, and here we are. So,
Excellent, excellent. So you touched a little bit on earnings that's coming up for you very soon. Any other information you can allude to in terms of the financials?
well, no, we have a very very good group of shareholders. They've been there since the beginning. Very tightly held, very knowledgeable people. Financial wise, we've recovered almost 200,000 carats in the trial mining phase, generating probably close to 40 million US. So we've dumped a lot of that back into the project to build it and minimize dilution along the way.
Right.
So we've raised money when we've had to at much higher levels than we trade at now. So that was really not that dilutive. And overall, we think that the potential for a really strong a company is there. I think that a majority of our shareholders and a lot of people think the same thing. I just don't think the diamond space is widely followed. So I think that as we go into the next quarters and we sort of start to demonstrate what this is, the first question will be, can you get this up and running and profitable? The next question will be, now how big can we make it? And obviously the answer to that question is essentially as big as we want. It's just a matter of now expanding into other areas and doing modular stuff. But we think it can be self-financing. We've always been really good that way. So, overall, it's a De Beers deal, co-located with them. We have every infrastructure thing. I mean, we're co-located with a $4.5 billion mine or $4 billion, whatever it is. We just have a lot of benefits, and we have exceptional shareholders. And like I say, we sell to, 200 of the best guys in the world. So it's kind of a nice scenario for us.
Wonderful, wonderful. Before we get into a little bit more about you, Dean, tell me about your team, your core team, and what would you like to highlight about them?
Well, everybody's been in place sort of since the beginning. Some of our key guys, obviously, Kurt Peterson, Dr. Kurt Peterson is our Chief Operating Officer. I brought him on probably 3 years ago, I guess. Kurt was originally a De Beers guy, pretty much worked on most of the diamond plants in the world, PhD in mineral processing. We brought him in essentially to operationally make things sound and get ready for the move from sort of this trial mining phase into production.
Right.
Refinement of it, the defining, getting to volume, all those kind of things. So Kurt's been wonderful to deal with. We have a great team. Directors-wise, Dr. Stephen Haggerty, him and John Gurney, probably two of the most famous guys, old-timers.
Right.
We're glad to have him. But we just have a real good group of people, and it's nice. We sell everything in Dubai at our facilities there. We have excellent tender facilities, excellent customers. We're co-located with De Beers. That can sometimes be a challenge because of the size, but at the same time, there's just a tremendous amount of benefits from it that we get as well. So I'm thrilled with our team. Like I say, I think that now it's just all about execution and growth. So it's going to be an exciting year.
Excellent. So, Dean Taylor, why this industry? How do you find yourself here? Touch on your background for us, please.
My background was basically more telecom and acquisitions. I'm an acquisition guy by heart. I think it's much easier to acquire things than it is to generically grow them. And as long as they're purchased at the right price and they're quality things, then I think it makes a lot of sense. I got into this, originally was asked to invest in it. In the end, I ended up taking the entire public company, rolling it back, and then divesting of a lot of stuff they had on the basis that I thought we could acquire some of these non-core projects from De Beers on what was going on in the industry. We felt like the shortages were going to be there. We knew it was a long game. Making the deal with Tiffany's, understanding their need for supply,
Right.
Getting them, they put in $10 million for a first right of refusal. They don't get a discount. We're strategic alliance partners. It's all about supply. Just a lot of the different elements that brought me into it. I mean, that's 10 years plus ago. And so, all businesses in a lot of ways are the same. And this has been a very, very interesting one. Taking a little bit longer than what we probably wanted or what I thought it should take. But
Right.
at the same time, it's got tremendous upside. So, I enjoy it. I spend about half my time in North America and throughout the world, and about half my time in Johannesburg, where you were originally from. And
Wonderful.
so I know the landscape very well. I know the people very well, and I love it. It's great. So
Fantastic. Tell us about, like you touched on the socioeconomic environment, the Russia-Ukraine war.
yeah,
Obviously, there's rate hikes, there's inflation, there's all these
all this
buzzwords
kind of things going
going
on.
around. How do you foresee that
It's
impacting?
it's so bizarre.
Right.
First of all, I mean, obviously, nobody's going to think that the Ukraine thing is good. It's tricky when we do our presentation. There's a dramatic impact that happens when you take 35% of the world's supply out.
Right.
But you really want to say in your presentation, oh, this is great. It's horrible what's going on there.
Right.
I would rather it goes back to getting the Russian supply. We're still going to have shortages no matter what.
Right.
So my preference would be that. Are we going to see price increases? Sure, right? There's no question. So when I look at all the socioeconomic stuff that's going on, it's odd because even as we look at Dubai and that, what we're seeing is people worried about currency, like ultra high net worth.
Yeah.
Rough getting bought, put in safes as a store against currency and all these kind of things. The general stores, I mean, when you look at it, you see the stores of Tiffany's and all the major retailers.
Right.
They have to have diamonds. So for us, I don't think that as much as I guess it comes down to disposable income. If there's inflation, there's different things like that. Do people spend less? Yeah, I think you'd be crazy to think they don't. But I think in general, you'd be very, very shocked to know, how much disposable income is out there and just what drives the industry. It hasn't really changed. If anything, COVID proved to us that it was probably as strong, if not stronger, and continuing to do that. So, look, there's a lot of crazy things going on in the world, but those all seem to sort themselves out. And next year's another year, and so we fight it out for this year. We focus on what we're doing, and let the world sort itself out.
100%. Okay, we're going to go on to final closing remarks, but I just want to hear
Sure.
from you on a personal level. What would you say is your life motto? What do you live by? If there's one thing you can highlight.
Oh, gee, I think I jokingly always say to everybody, I will never retire. First of all, tried that for a little bit and taken it easy. I don't like it. I don't know. Motto-wise, I guess my joking thing is that no matter whatever I achieve or I get there, I always say to people that, well, it's good enough until we do something better. So
Excellent.
that's kind of the motto I live by is
Right.
onward and upward, and whatever we achieve today, well, if we can beat it next year, next
What's next?
quarter, whatever. Yeah, let's just keep going. It's good enough for now, but we'll do better. So.
Excellent, very
Yeah.
positive. Okay, so just final closing remarks for our viewers watching, our investors, and also where they can find more information.
We have our website, diamcormining.com. Obviously, Chris and the guys here do an excellent job,
Thank you.
as yourselves do. Like I say, our information is pretty readily available. Any of our shareholders will tell you outright that my phone is on 24 hours a day. I'm always happy to, talk with anybody about anything to do with the company, that I can, obviously. But, overall, like I said, I think it's worth checking out. Our presentation will be online. If they have any questions, get a hold of me. Get a hold of Rich Matthews, our guys at the office. It's an interesting business and exciting time. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dean.
No
This
problem.
was
Thanks,
Dean
Carmel.
Taylor for Diamcor Mining, and you're watching the Sequire Spotlight.
Thanks.